It's storylines. Between the coaching carousel, the divisional weekend, and everything in between, we've got you covered. Willie McGinnis and D'Angelo Hall will be with me tonight. But let's start with the first game of the weekend. Rams-Packers, and a look at the legacy of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, that hate, the grind, the sweat, the blood, the time, my motivation. I work too hard, too long, and not be in the conversation. My team better way up, ain't nothing less than domination. I got the game to say with lock and key and combination.
What a play by Rodgers! Green Bay all the way!
Motivation, all the hating that they doing, motivation. You be talking, but you not up in the conversation. They all wanting me to stop, that's my motivation.
Aaron Rodgers continues his MVP campaign this weekend, coming fresh off a bye, and will be hosting the divisional round at home in Green Bay. Stacey Dales has us covered on all things Rams-Packers.
We are in store for the best of the best on Saturday. It's the Rams' #1 scoring defense against the Packers' #1 scoring offense. That means All-Pro Aaron Donald against All-Pro Aaron Rodgers. Well, Donald has been dealing with that rib injury. He told us on Wednesday that he has no pain and he feels healthy. He also added, "The way that I'm feeling right now, I'm not too worried about it. I feel good, I feel strong, and I'll be ready to go come Saturday." As for the Rams facing Rodgers and the best red zone offense in football, Donald said they must find ways to affect the quarterback. That's QB hits, getting in his face, chasing him around, and ultimately not allowing him to get comfortable. So between affecting Rodgers and shutting down what the Rams consider to be a very strong run game, starting with Aaron Jones, Donald told me we'll be fine. Kickoff 4:35 Eastern on Saturday at Lambeau.
Thanks, Stacey. And what a matchup we have in store. I mean, it is the latest edition of top defense versus top offense. Go ahead, pick a stat, and the Rams defense excels at it. Ditto for the Packers. Oh, the #1 scoring defense faces off against the #1 scoring offense. MVP versus AD. I can't wait. Willie McGinnis and D'Angelo Hall. Hello, guys. Welcome in. All right, listen, you both just saw the rankings there for each of these teams, both sides of the ball. There's no way around it. This is going to be one of those games that really defines what a divisional round is really made for. But who has the advantage here? Is it the Rams defense or the Packers offense, Willie?
You know, I love those stats, but stats don't win football games. Players and matchups do. So when I look at this matchup, I got to go with Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, only because take away Devontae Adams. Okay, I know you're saying ooh over there because you think Jalen Ramsey going to take Adams out of the game. Well, when he missed week 3 and 4, 10 different players touched the ball and had a reception, which means Aaron Rodgers will spread the ball around. They will come with multiple formations and different looks. And guess what, D-Hall? They've been off for 2 weeks. What does great football offensive minds do and great offenses do and great quarterbacks do? They give you something you have not seen before. So the Rams have been preparing for something they've seen a couple of weeks ago, and the Packers have been working on something that's been hidden in the playbook that nobody's really seen or they haven't really done. They have savvy enough and veteran enough to do it. They'll give them something they haven't seen, some type of surprises, formations, personnel groups, whatever it is, be ready for it, and they're going to attack.
All right, Willie, you're absolutely right when you talk about the Green Bay Packers offense is going to give that Rams defense something they haven't seen. You're right, but that's going to be 1 or 2 plays, Willie. That's not going to be consistently. Consistently, they're going to give them what they've been doing for the most part this season. And I got to go with the Rams defense, man. When you think about the way those dudes went out and played inspired football, it's hard for me to pick against those guys. And you talked about you have the MVP and Aaron Rodgers. I got Aaron Donald. And watch what they've been doing on the back end with this coverage as well. Watch these 5 guys pass everything off. We as DBs, we love it when we have other DBs on the field. Passing off DK Metcalf. Look, John Johnson didn't even have nothing to do on that play. Leonard Floyd is sacking Russell Wilson. Aaron Donald's not even on the football field. Here, 6 DBs. They're in a dime package. You know how hard it is to fight those defensive coaches to get more DBs on the field, but because of that communication, they're able to pass things off. John Johnson, big hit here on DK Metcalf. So for me, it's not necessarily about just the matchup between Jalen Ramsey and Devontae Adams, which I love that matchup. We'll talk about that later. It's about everything those DBs have been doing on the back end. Shout out to Coach Aubrey Pleasant, that DB coach, Brandon Staley, the D coordinator. They have been in sync. I played with Joe Barry as my coordinator in Washington. He's that linebacker coach. sometimes he fights to get his linebackers on the field. So I love it when I see more DBs instead of linebackers, Willie.
Yeah, I know you would say that because you're a DB, and I'm a linebacker. But guess what? I looked at what you just showed me. The 6 DBs may have worked against the Seattle Seahawks. Remember, we saw that with the Chargers when they used it against Baltimore, and then they went down and played New England. They thrashed that DB system because they knew what they were giving them. Excuse me. You can't give a guy like Aaron Rodgers your playbook and say, this is what we're going to do because it worked a week prior. They're going to have something ready for that. And remember, even though Aaron Jones is in the game as a runner, he also is a receiver. If they see the 6 DBs come in, they're going to motion him back in the backfield and run the ball. So they better be ready to be physical and play the run as well.
I love that we're really focusing in on the Rams.
Look.
Go ahead,
Can I push back one time?
Yeah.
I'll just say this. When you have Aaron Jones running the football downhill at you, he's like a receiver. So me as a DB, I'm not scared of him. It's different when you got a 230-pound running back coming downhill, Willie. Yeah, us DBs don't really want none of that, but we'll take on Aaron Jones any day.
Listen, the one thing you got to keep in mind, both of you, is we got to stay nimble and stay ready for any turnout here. Because, Zihan, remember last week, you and I were pretty confident that the Rams were not going to win, right? It was a matchup situation. But here we are talking about the mid-playoffs. So you got to see things in a different light, especially in the divisional round. All right, guys, thanks.
We're underway here in Tampa Bay. And
Breeze hangs in the pocket, throws wide open. Smith for the touchdown. Look out.
but it's intercepted. Baltimore picks it off, and that ball is going to be picked off. Malcolm Jenkins gets in on the fun.
How many interceptions did you tell me Brady had?
That's Adam Troutman for the touchdown.
Touchdown, Emmanuel Sanders. Touchdown, Josh Hill. Brady again under pressure, rolling out to his right, and he's taken down. The Saints continue to make it look easy.
For more on round 3 of the Saints and Buccaneers, let's welcome in our Hall of Fame QB, Kurt Warner. And Kurt, listen, Tom Brady needs a lot more offense versus this New Orleans defense if they want to make it to the NFC Championship. So what adjustments do they need to make there?
Well, the biggest adjustment to me is they're going to have to get the ball out of Tom's hands quicker. You know, the formula here against Tom Brady for a long time has been rush 4, get quick pressure on Tom Brady as he's trying to stretch the field and force him into mistakes or force him into feeling uncomfortable in the pocket. Saints have done that extremely well in the 2 matchups, especially the last matchup with the big win that the Saints got. They are going to challenge you on the back end. They're not afraid to get up and play man coverage so you can't throw quickly and allow their 4 guys to get to them up front. So that is going to have to be key, especially early in this game. Make Tom comfortable, get the ball out of his hands, and try to make some plays in the quick game.
Oh, man. All right, let's switch over to the AFC for a second here because we got a matchup of 2 QBs really in that next generation of elite quarterbacks. So how can Lamar Jackson stay hot against the Bills?
Well, the key here is going to be run the football, right? The Bills, when they've struggled this year, when they've lost this year, they've given up a bunch of rush yards. We saw the Colts get back into the game in the second half last week by running the football. And so that's what the Ravens do. That's what they've been built on down the stretch. That's where the strength of their game is running the football. Now, as we always say with Lamar, the key is going to be what he does in the pass game, because you have to believe at some point in time, either Josh Allen's going to score points or this Bills going to find a way, this Bills defense is going to find a way to force you into a drop back game. What do you do in those moments? Can you make the throws? Or maybe, as we just saw there, maybe it's not even about making the throws. Can you find a seam and make a big play with your legs in the pass game will probably be the difference maker in this one.
I think in this matchup specifically, Kurt, they're going to have to level up even above expert, above elite to really outbeat one another. All right, Kurt, stay right there because we will dive into more playoff analysis in just a little bit with your top 3 QB storylines for the divisional weekend. The Steelers' undefeated 11-game start to the 2020 season ended with Ben Roethlisberger in tears after losing to the Browns in the wild card. Today, head coach Mike Tomlin spoke about his QB1 and his performance this season.
Man, I was more than pleased with the performance of his health and his ability to stay up. In terms of the quality of his play and our play, we'll begin to assess that in the upcoming days. But in terms of him responding to the challenges that he specifically came into the season ready to face, spectacular.
All right, let's get to the latest news from around the league with our NFL